names, but like what you were saying with Ra and all that. And a lot of that stuff is in Masonic.
It's in what?
The Masonry.
Oh, Masonry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a Mason worship. And all they do,
And
same old story, and they try to change the narrative a little bit. Like just with the Egyptian, they try to say Isis and Isis was Mary, Osiris was Christ. Yeah, but Osiris didn't get up on no cross and die. So too bad, my nigga. That ain't gonna work. Osiris didn't sacrifice himself for his people, right? So too bad, bro. Osiris was dealing with another man's semen and all that weird stuff. So Christ wasn't dealing with that. Bagels and everything. Yeah. Oh, you got to go. What? Yeah. You didn't know. No. You got to get into that Egypt worship.
No.
It's all about, male ejaculate and weird stuff.
No, I'm good on that.
Anyway, let's keep going. We're almost done. Where we at?
We're at Deuteronomy.
Hey, I don't know why we went offline. I couldn't tell you why. Right? I don't know why we went offline. We just did. It just be like that. Yeah. Right? All that money for internet. Yay. Where we at?
Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 1. And Moses called all Israel and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them and keep and do them. The Most High, our power, made a covenant with us in Horeb. The Lord made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us who are all of us here alive this day. The Lord talked with you face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire.
Right. So how could he? So just really think about it. How could he talk face to face if he was out of the midst of a fire? But they seen God. No, dummy. The face to face. It's the way the Bible is speaking. That listen, I'm giving you this plain. It's face to face. It's laid out for you to understand plainly. Not that they looked at the Most High deep in his eyes. Oh, he got baby blues. The Most High got chocolate brown eyes. Yeah. Right? And his beard, it was going down like this. And his locks was twisted and flowing like this. No. The face-to-face was, look, it's not going to be no mystery. This thing is going to be plain as day. But it came out of the midst of a burning bush. Wait a minute. So the bushes got faces? No. See, people don't understand how the Bible be talking. That's why they get caught up in the name of the Most High, Ahia or Yahweh. That's why they get caught up in when it says the angel of the Lord, that it says the Most High said, they get lost. He said in diverse manners. He spoke to the fathers in the past times in diverse manners. So burning bushes, donkeys, right? Angels, all types of different things. But now he speaks to us through his son. Go ahead, read.
Can I read this real quick?
Yep.
It's Numbers 12 and 8.
Numbers what?
12 and 8. This goes with what you're saying. I'll start at verse 7. It says, My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. Just so y'all know, he's talking to Moses. We're talking about Moses. Verse 8. With him will I speak mouth to mouth.
Meaning what? There's not going to be, again, it's going to be plain.
Yeah.
It's going to be plain. Like, yes, it's still going to come out of a bush. Yes, it's still going to be filtered through Yahweh Shai, but it's still going to be mouth to mouth. Right? There's no proxies.
There's no parables.
Yeah, there's no parables. There's no dark sayings. I'm going to reveal all to him. Go ahead.
It says,
where you at?
This is Numbers 12 and 8. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently.
Ooh, apparent. Things are going to be plain, apparent. No mystery. Man, what did that law mean? Wait a minute. So, Not having your father's wife, what did that mean? You got to sit there and think about it. No, it means don't have your father's wife.
Yep.
But then when it says that don't sleep with your mother, well, damn, wait a minute. But my father's wife is my mother. But then my mother is my mother. Oh, I get it. Because he had my mother. But then he might have had another wife also. Jacob. Reuben.
Con.
Oh, I get that, Reuben. Go ahead.
And not in dark speeches.
Right, read.
And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold.
The similitude. You'll see my hinder parts. You'll see my glory.
You'll see me in the midst of a fire.
See me in the midst of a fire. You'll see you'll be up on Sinai, but I'm gonna give you angels.
Yeah.
And different things like that. But you're not gonna get me. You're not gonna see me. Why? Too majestic. Too powerful. But also, think about it. What's a cat gonna do when he actually sees the Most High, if he ever did? The first thing you nigga trying to do is draw him out. Look, I see the Lord.
But like this.
The Most High didn't want you to do that. That's why he said, I didn't give you me for any animal to represent me, or the sun and the moon and the stars to represent me.
Oh.
I didn't give you these things to represent me. At least you go make an image and bow to them. What? We just read it. We just read that in Deuteronomy 4 and 15 down. We just read it. Deuteronomy 4 and 15 to Deuteronomy 19. Deuteronomy 4 and 15 to 19. Excuse me. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourself, for you saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire. Lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, and image the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female. See that? Because that's what we would have did. I see God. Well, draw him out from me. I don't believe you.
Yeah, he looked like this.
Yeah, now you got an Etch-a-Sketch. The guy's just throwing. He didn't want that. But now think about it. This is how you know all these other gods are trash. They be half horse, half man, half dog, half woman, frog head, dog tail, bear claws. Bruh, it's confusion. Who the hell revealed that to them? Who revealed that to them? Their own imagination. When you worshiping a cow with a star in its forehead, that's their own. Remember the golden calf we built? That was based off of what is that? What god was that? Baal? No. What was that? Molech? The cow? Yeah.
Molech, yep.
But who revealed to them that that's what that god looked like? Somebody made it up. Somebody made it up because they want to worship a cow. The Egyptians, one of their first gods, if you didn't know, was the cow. That was one of the first things they worshipped. First century Egypt, they worshiped animals, and then what happened is the animals anthropomorphized into men. So they would start worshiping half animal, half man deities. Then they started to get transgender with it. Then it was like this dude went from a cow to a man to a woman. Then it was like he went back to a frog. That's how their gods work. Yeah, they started to get real. It tells you that their gods were androgynous. Their gods were androgynous, man.
Prince.
Rick James. Yeah, you can't tell what it is. That's what androgyny means. You don't know what it is. It's not straight. It's not gay. It's not male. It's not female. It's just in between. That's confusion. Let your yay be yay, your nay be nay. Lukewarm, I'll spew you out. Hot or cold. The Most High don't deal with in between. But that's why he didn't give us anything, because he didn't want us to misrepresent him. You can't put the Most High in a cat. You can't put the Most High in a dog head with a human body and say that, oh, that's the Most High. Doesn't work like that.
Right.
He's greater than all these things. You can't put him in a mountain. You can't put him in a building. You can't put him in a shoe. You can't put him in the moon, the sun, the stars. You can't put him in anything. Why? He made it all. How can I contain you in something that you made? That's like putting you in the box of your child. But you're greater than your child. That's your creation. Right? Yeah. That's why it says the Most High is in all of us. Right? Why? Because he can be. The Most High is in everything. Why? Because he can be. He made it all. You see that? He didn't want us to misrepresent him. He's omnipotent. Go ahead, read on.
Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 5.
Right?
I stood between the Most High. I stood between the Lord and you at that time.
Wait, what? Wait. What verse you at? Because if you're reading what I'm thinking you're reading.
Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 5.
The Lord talking. Oh, okay, go ahead. Right? Go ahead.
I stood between the Lord and you at that time.
I almost heard something that I wanted to hear. Go ahead.
To show you the word of the Lord.
Right?
For ye were afraid by reason of the fire.
Right?
And went not up into the mount.
Say, said that they were afraid of the fire. Remember, this is talking about Mount Sinai. The mountain was on fire. And they were miles away from the mountain. He said you were afraid because of the fire. But it wasn't just the fire, it was the sound. That mountain was shaking, it was quaking, it was burning, but it wasn't consumed. Think about the whole mountain on fire, and you're like, wait a minute. So the mountain ain't just gonna burn up, it's just gonna keep burning. And then you know what was happening, it was dark.
Yeah.
You know it was dark, and there was lightnings, there was thunderings. Just imagine the highest peak, and you're looking up, and you're like, wait a minute, what is going on there? And then you look around, and it's like daylight. You look that way, it's daylight. You're like, wait, no. And this cloud don't move for days. It just sits there.
Man.
Animals don't want to come near it. People don't want to come near it. But this one man, he can go up in there. Now you understand why they said, make us a god, because we don't know what happened to Moses. As soon as he walked into that mountain, they made him a god. But when he didn't come back, they dethroned him. Because only a god in their eyes could make it up that mountain. Right? But they didn't realize that Moses was set up to be able to go up to that mountain. The Most High cleared that path.
Right.
As impassable as the mountain was, you read in the Josephus, it said that mountain, the incline, no man could pass that mountain. But obviously the Most High made it that way. So no man would try, but who was commanded to go up. Right? So just imagine what was going on. There was a lot going on there. We were in the valley, and the mountain was on flame-o with the thousands and thousands of angels and chariots.
You know, the closest thing I can think about that would be similar is like a volcano going off or something.
Yeah, but even volcanoes look dope because they got sunlight coming down. You're like, oh, it's a pretty volcano.
Yeah.
But imagine just a dark cloud just over this mountain. And it's just smoking from all that energy, all that power. But it don't burn up. You waiting for it to just implode on itself, and it doesn't. And you hear noises. Bruh.
I seen some dark clouds in my day that look vicious, and I know that ain't bad with that. I've seen some of them just from a bad storm.
Yeah.
Vicious.
Yeah. Listen, in Colorado, man, especially during the springtime, when you look west, it get real hot in the daytime. And then what had happened is that high heat and that low pressure, and when you look west, you would just see this black wall of clouds coming from the mountains. And you knew, go home. It was time to go home because that was going to be hail. You know those raindrops when they hit you, it's like bullets. Yeah, bro. And those hail rocks the size of golf balls. And that's the springtime in Colorado. Like every afternoon, you get this beautiful weather in the daytime, 70s, 80s, even 90s. You look west because that's where the clouds come from. They come from the west, and you just see this dark wall, and you're like, wait a minute, what is going on here? And you just knew it's time to go inside of you. Wow. And you can see the lightnings in the mountains. That's like my closest thing because the mountains were elevated. When you look to the west in Colorado, there's no way you can't see the mountains at all because the mountains are so far up. No matter where you are, that's how you never got lost in Colorado. You always knew where west was because you can look. Mountains. That's how close they were. That's how high they were. See that? So when them storms came, bro, even snowstorms, but you could see the lightnings, and you just like, oh, okay. Sometimes you would look, and you could see like a wall of just clouds on one section, and you could see it raining, and you look, and it's nothing. Yeah, if you saw it from a distance, you could see like if you could look into the distance. There's no mountains here. There's no elevation here. But if you can look into the distance and see the rain clouds, the way they form, certain sections would form and just rain down. And you could see the rain falling from a distance and the clouds, and then everywhere else would be clear. Yeah. So that's my closest visual, right? But it's still nothing like what it really was. Yeah. Go ahead. Where we at?
All right. This is Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 6. I am the Lord your power, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other powers before me. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them. For I the Lord your power am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of
Deuteronomy 5 and 1 is just the 10 Commandments. Yeah. Same thing as Exodus, right? Why is he? Remember, Exodus was a whole different group of people. These people are how old? What's the age range that we said they were last week?
20.
No. It couldn't be 20.
40 and up.
It's 40 to, they're about 40 and up. They started out at 20 because remember, everybody at the age of 20 and under lived. So there's a 20 and then we walk 40 years, so it's 20 to 60 years old. Everyone else died off. So that's why, again, he has to reiterate this. That's why you think, like, why is he saying this? Remember, this is Exodus. When we first came out of Egypt, everyone's there. This is Deuteronomy. The 40-year generation dies off. Now you got their children. So you're going to hear it too. That's why he said, this is not a covenant that I made with your fathers. He didn't mean that it's something different. It means you're here now to hear this. They're gone. They didn't fulfill the covenant. Now it's your turn. No excuse.
Wow.
Go ahead. These were the kids that are now grown. Yeah. These are the kids that are now grown. So, like, for instance, you would be gone. He'd be 40 years from now. How old are you? 16. 40 years from now is what? 56? So he'd have been 56 years old if he was in this situation. You'd be dead and gone. He'd be 56 years old because we walked for 40 years. He'd be 56. How old is your daughter?
9.
Right. She'd be 49. Y'all see that? 49. He'd be 52. Right? He'd be 56. 56. I'd be gone. He'd be gone. He'd be gone. Anybody above 20, gone. It'd be all the El Childranos just moving, but they'd be all grown. But by this time, anybody over the age of 20 was gone except for Joshua, Caleb, and Moses. Moses is on his way out. Then it's going to be Joshua and Caleb. Yeah. That's how you look at that. What's that?
Man.
Question: how would that means they
You said what?
these children,
Right.
they grown up,
Right.
They heard their parents grumbling and moaning and complaining.
Yeah.
So literally they could have took it into the new
They did.
Right. That's
They
why.
did take it.
Okay.
They did take it. They did take those negatives into the land of Canaan, of course. Of course. Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxing fat, thou art kicked, thou art grown over thick, thou forsook the Most High, you murmured, you did this, drank the vine of Sodom, you did all these different things because where they learn it from?
Your parents.
Yeah, because their parents, no matter what, raised them. Right? When you deal with Zelophehad and his 5 daughters. Remember, it said that their father died off in the wilderness in his own sins, right? Did they not see his sins?
God, he did.
Yeah, so they could have repeated it, but it was up for them to not repeat. Yeah. But what it was showing is that, yes, the parents raised the children. It wasn't like the parents were separated and died over in this wilderness while the children walked this way. Everybody was together. It's just that the older generation, by design, died off completely because that was what the punishment was. That was the punishment. Think about it. Just think about a cat that's 21. Think about a cat that's 21 and he's over 20. He died at 61 years old. That's young. He died at 61 on purpose. On purpose, bro. It was no, oh, you know what? Well, I didn't murmur, so I would have gave, well, you know, man, if you would have sent me a holler, I would have gave a good report. Please. You'd have been scary as hell. You'd have been scary like everyone else. I would have fought them. No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have. Because only 2 men stood up. Everyone else got roused up. That's why they got that punishment. And it wouldn't have been fair to put that punishment on the children. They didn't really understand that accountability wasn't going to get put on them, so the Most High gave them grace.
So did he find marriage just outside of the lives that he had taken?
Still died. Yeah, because that was the punishment for everybody. When one reign, we all reign. When one suffer, we all suffer. We're a body. Ooh. Yeah. The Most High judged them as a nation. He judged them as a nation. Right? Who else had their hand up?
Oh, yeah, I did. I was just trying to make sure. Because when I always heard the wilderness,
right?
Like this was like, we was the literal wilderness walking around, or we had like a specific area where we just stayed at.
Well, basically, we walked in circles in these outskirts of these different cities. So like the wilderness of Zin, the wilderness of Sinai. Sinai is the country, and usually the way a country is set up, you have the mountain, and then you have the wilderness, and then you have the plains. The plains is where you would set up your housing, your farming, because that's where grass grows. The mountains, you can't do nothing with.
Right.
The wilderness, trees and wooded areas. Yeah. So we didn't get the good parts.
So
we got the wilderness.
Literally. Yeah,
literally the wilderness. The barren. Yeah, think about it. We had to search for water out of a rock. We drank water that was bitter. He had to turn it sweet. We had to get quails because there was nothing for us to eat. We had to get manna that grew. Right. So these situations were set up because we were in a literal wilderness.
So there was no cattle there?
There was. But we needed to do sacrifices. We needed to do all that stuff.
Yeah, but we could barely feed ourselves. How do we feed them?
Well, if you know anything about goats, they'll eat the shirt off your back. So animals will make it. They'll forage. They'll do their thing. They're animals. But us, we want the delicacies. We want the delicacies in life. Yeah, so y'all get that, right? Right. So the whole generation is gone. So now you're dealing with a bunch of 60 to 40 year olds, something like that. But it's a whole other generation.
Well, you said 20 to 60.
No, it couldn't have been. Unless you had a newborn. Yeah, like it was a baby. Yeah, 20 to 60. Something like that. Yeah. But y'all get the point. The generation is gone. This is the new generation. That's why the scripture is repeating itself. You didn't hear this back in Exodus when you were a newborn? Well, now you're 40 years old. You're going to hear this again. Right. If you wasn't paying attention when you was 10, well, now you 50. Here you go. But your parents should have been teaching you this thing the whole time anyway. You see that? The whole time you was getting raised, what were the parents supposed to be teaching them? The law. right? But just in case they got lazy, I'm going to do their job. Just in case. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahweh thy power in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Lord thy power hath commanded thee. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord Yahweh brought thee out thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore, Yahweh thy power commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. Honor thy father and thy mother, as Yahweh thy power hath commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee, the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee. Thou shalt not murder, neither shalt thou commit adultery, neither shalt thou steal, neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor, neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, or his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. These words the Lord spake unto all your assembly in the mount, out of the midst of the fire of the cloud, and of the thick darkness with a great voice, and he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone and delivered them unto me. It came to pass, when ye heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, where the mountain did burn with fire, that ye came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribes and your elders. And ye said, Behold, the Lord our power hath showed us his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We have seen this day that Yahweh doth talk with man, and he liveth. Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of Yahweh our power any more, then we shall die. For who is there of all flesh that hath heard the voice of the living power speaking out of the midst of the fire, as we have, and lived? Go thou near, and hear all that the Lord our power shall say, and speak thou unto us all that the Lord our power shall speak unto thee, and we will hear it and do it. And the Lord heard the voice of your words when ye spake unto me, and the Lord said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken unto thee. They have well said all that they have spoken. Oh, that there were such an heart in them, that they would fear me, and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them, and with their children forever.
What verse are we at?
Verse 30.
30, you'll read.
Oh, forever. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 30. Right? Go say to them, get you into your tents again. But as for thee, stand thou here by me, and I will speak unto thee all the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I give them to possess it. Ye shall observe to do therefore as the Lord your power hath commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left hand. Ye shall walk in all the ways which the Lord your power hath commanded you, that ye may live, and that it may be well with you, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess. So that's it for Deuteronomy. Any questions on that, Deuteronomy?
Yes, sir.
What's the next question?
Let's actually go back to 29.
5 and 29?
Yes, sir. 5:29. That there were such an heart in them that they would fear me. I mean, what is that saying? Is that saying that they had a heart that they weren't going to fear him?
28. And the Lord heard the voice of your words when you spoke unto me. And the Lord said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of this people, which they have spoken unto me. They have well said all that they have spoken. Oh, that there were such an heart in them that they would fear me. So it's like the Most High saying, it's only, yeah, like if only they keep what they said they're going to do. Right? But, what's cold is when you go further on into the chapter, the Most High says it. He says, I knew you were going to rebel against me. I knew I was going to give you the commandment and you were just going to go against it. When you get into the later chapters of Deuteronomy, the Most High knew what was in our heart. Like, let's be real. Why were we agreeing? Why are we saying amen? First of all, we are on, don't let the Lord speak to us. Moses, you talk to us. Remember that? You don't want to hear the voice. It's too much. It's going to kill us. Moses, you talk to us. Moses is dropping it. They're saying amen, but I don't want to say they didn't know what they were saying amen to or agreeing to, but it was deeper than what they thought. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet. Right. Those things are deeper than what you think, because Yahweh Shai had to reveal the deepness. He had to reveal how deep murder goes and where that murderous mind starts. He had to reveal where adultery starts, that it's not adultery, but it's lust, right? And then that goes into any type of adultery, any type of covetousness. Right. If I'm a lustful person, I'm going to go after a man's wife, house, car, family. I'm going to try to take what another man has. You see that? But that's all in the greed, the lust of the flesh, the greed of the belly. Right? And then it branches off into these different things. So they didn't understand the magnitude of amen to thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Because then the next question should have been, well, how do I not covet? Not just, Khan, got it, shalom. True. It should have been, wait a minute, Lord, how do we not covet? Give us do you notice that the people never ask for an explanation or anything? They just said, like, Khan, you know what, you're right, and just roll with it. A wise man will look well to his goals. Well, okay, how do I not covet, Lord? What does that mean? Give us more, Moses. They want to shut Moses up and get on with life. Wow. Like how sisters want to shut their husbands up and get on with life. Like how kids just want to blow their parents off and get on with life. Like how brothers want to blow us off and get on with life. It trickles down. It's a trickle down. Trickle down thing. That's cold. No, it's true. It's truth, my brother. You had your hand up.
So he's saying, in that situation, when you're talking about that they would have the spirit of lust or covetousness, all that falls under covetousness.
Yeah, it's all lust, because that's what lust leads. It leads you to covet, right? Lust leads you to commit adultery, right? Because what is lust? Right? It's that urge to want to attain and get, and you can't be satisfied. Why does a man commit adultery with another man's wife and he's married? Because he can't be satisfied. That lust of, what is it? Concupiscence, right? Or that lasciviousness. That's an uncontrolled lust. You see that? And then you have where you can't be, where that lust can't be tamed or that lust can't be quenched. And then you got to dive deeper into another level of lust to suffice for a little bit. And then what? You can't control or contain that. Then you got to dive somewhere else. Like even homosexuality is just lust, right? You got a lot of these men. I remember one time, man, I was in the mall and I pulled this cat over. This Judite cat, big guy, muscles. Oh, man, what you do? And he was like, I'm a porn star. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, wow. My first thing was like, okay, so how do you feel about women? Right? How do you feel about women on a connection level? You got a wife, you got a girlfriend, Can you connect? Right? Can you have a relationship seeing that all you do is give your flesh to women five times in a day?
Yeah.
Right? And he said, bro, truthfully, I gotta tune myself. He said, I gotta mentally put myself in a position to even perform. Right? And then I gotta black out in another way to keep the performance going. Right? But he said he got a girlfriend. I'm like, well, how does that work? Right? But what I'm saying is he's so desensitized. So then now if I want to get my senses back going, there's one of two things I do. Either I abstain cold turkey and not deal with that for a long time, or I go to the next thing that's going to be different. That's why a lot of men go to men, because they're tired of women. They dive over it, and a lot of women go to women because they're tired of women. They're tired of men. They didn't had all that. They didn't had it every which way. So now let me try something different.
So when Yahushua was tempted,
Right?
with those three things, do all of those sins basically fall under those three things?
Pride of life, turn the stones, the stones into bread, and dash yourself off the cliff.
So it'll be
Power, fulfilling yourself, and basically misusing the Most High's grace. And that's what it is. He said, tempting the Most High. Right? That's why he said, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Yeah, he'll bear you up, but why would I even put myself in that situation? So it's tempting the Lord, fulfilling your own lusts, and getting that power, that control. You see that? Yeah. Anything else before we go to Ecclesiastes? Right. Ecclesiastes 42. Ecclesiastes 42. Man. Yeah, bro, but I ain't eating no sugar. Weird. Ecclesiastes 42. Ecclesiastes 42 in verse 1. Okay, so this is a continuation of chapter 41. Remember, it tell you about the things to be ashamed of in chapter 41? Right? Chapter 41 and verse 16. Therefore, be shamefaced according to my word, for it is not good to retain all shamefacedness, neither it is altogether approved in everything. Be ashamed of whoredom. And it goes out and it gives you this list of what to be ashamed of. Now it's coming back and telling you in chapter 42 what two let me see, am I reading it right? Right, of these things not to be ashamed of. What to be ashamed of, what not to be ashamed of. So chapter 42 of Ecclesiasticus in verse 1. Of these things be not thou ashamed, and accept no person to sin thereby. Of the law of the Most High and his covenant, and of judgment to justify the ungodly. So that goes back into accept no man against thy soul to cause thee to sin. Don't pervert judgment, right? Don't accept a man based on stature and disregard the negative that they're doing. That's what they're showing you. Don't be ashamed. Be not ashamed to call out negative and sin. Y'all get that? It says, don't be ashamed of the law of the Most High and his covenant. Ooh. And of the judgment to justify the ungodly, of reckoning with thy partners and travelers, or of the gift of the heritage of friends, of exactness. What's that?
So when you say, when the scripture says of the law of the Most High,
right, it's telling you not to be ashamed of it.
Right. So if they could accept no person to send that thereby. So if you know they're doing it,
Right. You don't be ashamed to call that out.
you don't be ashamed to call it out. What if you're not in a position to do that?
Well, then you got to go to somebody that is. There's a chain. There's always chains of command. There's always order and structure. So you may not be. It's like this. Just think about it. You know, if you put it in the order of Corinthians 11, like, can your kids just call you out on things? All right, they're gonna call you out because they're your children. Now, obviously, we got order and structure, right? So there's gonna be situations where you may see something and you may not understand it. You may mark it as sin, right? But then you got to go to somebody that's going to be able to balance out that mind and say, well, how are you looking at this? That's why we got officers. That's why we got sisters that been here, elder sisters and young sisters, right? But imagine if you got some young sister that been here for 2 seconds rebuking a woman that been here 15 years and don't know what's going on. So what would that young sister have to do? She might have to go to another elder sister and say, hey, I'm not accusing, but this is what I saw. Help me get some understanding. See, there's a way to go about things where you're not just accusing and pointing fingers, right? He might see something on me. See, the difference is with brothers and sisters, he can come to me and I'm not going to get all up in arms like, why are you talking bad about me? Right? I'm be like, no, okay, let's talk about that. No, that's not that. Yeah, you're right. You know what? My bad. Or nah, that you misunderstood that. And I'll explain myself. Right? So there's different, like, first of all, sisters need to get way better at that. They don't even go to each other when there's an offense, right? They don't even know how to go to each other with how the scriptures say, if you offend, a brother offends you, go to that person. You barely know how to do that. I know how to go to him if I'm offended. He know how to come to me. So the dynamic of the relationship, first and foremost, is going to be different. Now, it might be something where he might say, man, while the Zop's over here wilding the hell out, let me go talk to the Zop. Or let me hit up Zion, right? And he's going to hit them up and say, hey, listen, I'm not accusing the brother of anything, and I might be misunderstanding, but this is what I'm seeing. Then what are they going to do? They're going to bring it to me and say, listen, we got the report. This is what's going on. Explain yourself. And I have to explain myself. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. If he's wrong, he's wrong, right? But we all going to get on the phone and counsel about it. But there's a way to do it. But that's why it says, know those that labor amongst you. Because again, he can come to me. Shaddai can come to me. Any one of y'all can come to me. I'm not, like, if y'all see something and you like, what is that? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be like, either I messed up or I didn't. Or you misunderstood or you didn't see the full part. I feel like I'm transparent like that. Right? So, but I'm not going to get offended with any type of, I don't get offended when there's a pointing of a finger at me. I don't get offended. I would rather just know that you're looking and clear it up and say, no, that wasn't that situation or that wasn't that, right? And you got to know who you're dealing with. He might not be like that. You might have to go to Shaddai to do it for him or even come to me, right? If you see something, then I might have to bring it to him in a way of, okay, what's going on over here? You see that? But the sisters, y'all got to get a lot better at a little bit of a chain of command. So that's how you would do that. Think about it. Even husbands and wives, right? We were talking yesterday. We were talking yesterday, and we were talking about how it was me, Kazak, Zion, Bakar, Shadak, Shaquat, all the officers were on the phone. Officers were on the phone, and we were talking about how the wives should be developing. A wife should develop into a type of way where she's able to, I don't want to say correct her husband, but at least remind her husband of certain things without him getting offended, right? I need constant reminders of things, right? Kazakia needs constant reminders of things. We be forgetting stuff because it's like, remember that. And it's like, okay, by the time we get here, we forget, right? Yeah. So then what are our ribs there for? To remind us, hey, don't forget this, don't forget that. But there's a certain way that has to happen, right? But if you can't even remind me if you can't remind me of something in a respectful way, how you gonna judge any sin that I got and bring it to me the right way where I'm gonna even consider what the hell you're saying? You see, there's lead ups. It's the way we deal with each other. You see that? So, like, sisters should be able to remind their husbands, hey, babe, remember we got this going on, we got that, don't forget this. And they don't take it like, why is she bossing me around? She ain't bossing you around, bro. She's trying to help. You can't remember everything. She's not usurping authority because she said, hey, babe, don't forget to get milk when you go outside because we need it. It's not usurping authority. That's her trying to be a help to you because you don't remember everything. You forget because you know what she's saying. Damn, every time something's supposed to happen, his excuse is I forgot. So what is a good wife supposed to do? Remember for you and then remind you. But remember, a good wife does that with humility. If she's not humble when she's doing it and she's like, nigga, you always forget everything, right? Then obviously anything else above that, it's going to be hard for her to come to that man. And the same thing across the dynamic of all relationships, right? Do my kids remind me of things? Yes. Do I look at them like, why the hell are y'all talking to me? No. Right? So it's how it's done. Y'all get that? Right. I'm going to jump down to verse 4. So remember, these are the things to not be ashamed of an exactness of balance and weights. We talked about, remember in Wednesday's class, how the Most High said it's not pure to be unjust and unbalanced? He said an exactness in balance and weights, right? He wants an exact balance, man. That's what the Most High deems respectable. The Most High is about equity and fairness, not the things to be unbalanced. He don't like cheats and weights or of getting much or little. Don't be ashamed to get much or little. It's what you do with it. He that gathereth much have no over. He that gathereth little have no lack. Why? Because he that gathereth much gave to the one that gathereth little, and vice versa. Don't be ashamed. You should be ashamed if you don't do. That's why he said to what you should be ashamed of, to turn away thy face from thy kinsman. That's what you should be ashamed of. Remember that from last week? Right. You see how it's going hand in hand? Right. Verse 5. And of merchants indifferent selling, of much correction of children. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to correct your children much. You're too rough on them. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It says to correct them much. Unless I'm misreading. Am I misreading this? Oh, okay. I'm reading with you. So I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe I'm misappropriating something and colluding. Right? Of much correction of children, and to make the side of an evil servant bleed. Ooh. Ooh. Right. What is it saying though? To keep things in order. Right? But you got to be careful with that servant. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Right? But remember what it says. Remember what it says about when you beat your children. It says beat them on their sides. It won't kill them. It won't hurt them. It says the rod and the reproof. The rod and reproof. So you talk to them, you beat them, right? Your children are like little servants. Go do the dishes. Go get the garbage. Go clean it up. Go sweep. Go do. Scriptures are showing you don't be afraid to discipline verbally, physically, right? We know now in these days we're not beating people till they bleed on their sides. Y'all get that? And you're not gonna take one hit and make a person bleed. It's just saying after so much correction. You know, that's what's going to happen. They're going to get soft on the sides, right? Y'all like, what the hell's going on here? These niggas is tripping. I ain't never read this in the Bible. I know. I know. But remember, that's why he gave us the law of the servants, not to go overboard. If you knock out a tooth, eye for an eye. Because why? Yeah, you could deal with them a certain way, right? That was just. But if you went too far, just know. If you injured that man in a certain way, that was going to be on you. You got to repay that. So it wasn't to take things too far. Just like if we're dealing with our kids, you're not going to beat them with the You're not gonna take the damn
Electric socket.
yeah, or just the
No, not
the
socket.
steel the cast iron frying pan and start beating them with it. Nah, you know why? You ain't trying to kill them, but you want to get your point across. Anyway, 6. Short keeping is good. Oh wow. Short keeping is good where an evil wife is, and shut up. Now you see why David did that to Israel. He shut her up because she was evil. So what does it say? It's just like a daughter. It says if your daughter be shameless, keep her in straight and give the water no passage. So he's saying short keeping in is a wife that's evil. She don't get to go out and hang out with you. She don't get to move around with you and ride shotgun. Hell nah. You get to ride shotgun at the house by yourself, but you ain't riding around with me and getting all the amenities and holding my hand and kissing in the park. We ain't doing that. No, ma'am. Right? It says to keep her in, shut up, where many hands are. Deliver all things in number and weight, and put all in writing that thou givest out or receivest in. Keep good records. That's what it's saying. See, business, money. It's telling you to keep good records. Don't be ashamed to be have receipts. I got receipts for that. In a good way. Right? Not in the gossip way. Be not ashamed. Oh, here it is. That's where this comes in. Be not ashamed to inform the unwise and foolish and the extreme aged that contendeth with those that are young. Thus shalt thou be truly learned and approved of all men living. Dude, are we going to dive into something? Right? Verse 9. The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep. So this is going to transition into a father. Even if it didn't transition, what is the context of the chapter thus far? Don't be ashamed to do these things. Don't be ashamed to take account for your daughters. Don't be ashamed to like the scriptures say, have thou daughters? Look out for what does it say? Of their body. Have care for their body. Right? Have thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not. Don't be ashamed of these things, right? Don't be ashamed that you're waking up and checking in on your kids. But that's what a good father does. Right? Everybody's sleeping, or before you go to bed. Like before I go to bed, I usually, if everybody falls asleep before me, I do a house check. I go, I lock, I check all the doors. Oh, doors locked. And I creep room to room. What's going on? Oh, sleep. I'm a creeper. Right? Just making sure everybody's tucked in. Nobody fell off the bed, hit their head. Everybody got their covers on. The AC ain't too much. I do all that for, sometimes I got to go, oh, it's banging too hard. Close the vent for the kids. Yeah. He under the covers shivering. I close his vent.
It's so hot in there.
Right? But as a father, you do these things. Right? You got to make sure that when everybody lays their head down, that they're in safety. Right? But this goes in a little bit more detail. The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth it. And the care for her taketh away sleep. Because what is a righteous man thinking about his daughter? He's thinking that what? You want her to be happy. You want her to be righteous. You want her to live a good life. Right? Yep. If she gets into a relationship, you want her to be with a good man. Right? Hast thou a daughter? It says, marry thy daughter, but give her to a man. It says, marry thy daughter, you perform a weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding. That's what a man is thinking about when he got daughters and even sons. Like, damn, who they going to get with? Especially in this day and age. When you could be a transgender at 4. Yeah. Birth certificates ain't it. Like, I'm going to check the birth certificate. Nah, those are forged. And those come out with pronouns. Them, him, shim, lim, and Tim. Him and I, or whatever it is, right? They come out with pronouns now on birth certificates. Like, they coming out with no gender. Oh, we'll let him pick that when. We'll let them pick that when them. We'll let them pick that when they ready. So whatever demon is on them is going to pick the gender. Well, I want to be a horse. I want to be A what is it? The horseman?
Oh, centaur?
I want to be a centaur. Half horse, half man? I want to be a mermaid. A half fish, half woman? Notice a Little Mermaid just came out. She got half fish, half woman.
Wow.
Stop it, man. Stop. Well, I want to be a merwoman.
Somebody has to say that because the world can be whatever they want to be, but we can't be you.
Right. You could be 50 years old talking about I'm a 5-year-old baby with a diaper on, but we can't be Israelites. That's wild. See the hypocrisy? Right? So it says, in the care for her taketh away sleep. When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age. Remember, this girl is in her father's house. What is he worried about? That she pass away her virginity before the time of being with the right man and giving herself to actual marriage. This is what a man is worried about. I don't want my daughter to be creeping through the window, or I don't want no little knucklehead creeping through her window. That's why I cut down all the trees in front of the windows. Because you ain't got nothing to climb up on playing them games. Ain't no gutters by the windows. Yeah, you watch all them shows, they be climbing up on the gutter, or they climb up on the rose bush little thing. What? I cut all them trees.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I just want more sunlight in the house. Cut that access fee. Right? Right? Because you don't want your daughter to pass the flower. You don't want her to give that up before you commit her, before she commits to a proper relationship that the Most High deems a relationship, right?
Okay.
And being married, least should she be hated. So what is a man thinking about? Well, I don't want my daughter to give away her virginity too early, but then also I don't want her to get married to a man and he hate her. Right? That sucks. I don't want to give my daughter to a man that hates her. So it's giving you the things that men think about. I want her to be happy in a relationship. I want her to be the Rachel. I don't want her to be the Leah. Right? I mean, the scripture says, right? She was the hated. I want my daughter to be, I want her to be the Rachel in the relationship. Right? The one that's preferred. So this is what a man is thinking about when he's raising daughters. But also he's thinking about things when he's raising sons. I don't want him to be a nigga in the streets. I don't want him to be a wife-beating, pants-sagging thug. Not my sons. Not my boys. Right? You don't want that from your lineage, from your posterity. You don't want that, man. You want upstanding, righteous children, man. Right? I'll read on. Verse 10, in her virginity. So it's going to go back and talk about her in her virginity. In her virginity, she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house. Think about this now. You think about it, and you can equate this story to Mary and Joseph, right? She was a virgin. She was a young woman of marriageable age, but she was gotten with child in her father's house. That's what happened. She didn't come together with Joseph yet. He didn't take her to his house. She was found with child. Think about it. That's not respectable. That's not customary in a Hebrew custom for a woman to be found with child in her parents' house, because that means that steps were skipped. That means that y'all were moving around without actually going through the betrothal stage and taking that time. Now, is it unlawful? No, but it is a worry, because what does it show about where this relationship can go? Remember, it said Joseph thought to put Mary away privily. He thought. So that be the thought, like, I can't follow through with this relationship. We ain't doing it right. But think about it.
May not be blessed.
Think about it. How many relationships last a test of time when they're just rushed through? Oh, we just going to stay together for the kids. We just going to make it work somehow, some way. No. What is he showing us? That a father worries about these things when they're out of order. But are you going to, does it say he worries about a daughter that's betrothed to a righteous man? No, even when Tobit got married, what was one of the wishes that his wife's father had? That he took care of her and that she was with a good man, that they lived long and had prosperity, that they had children and that he could come visit the children. He prayed that blessing over them. Like, look, take care of her, man. Right? And that's what a man wants for his daughter. Let's read the end of that story in Tobit. And having a husband, least she should behave herself. So it's showing you these things that a father thinks about for a daughter. I don't want to, she should, did I say behave herself?
Yeah.
Oh, misbehave herself. Right. No man wants a daughter that's married to a man that's out there moving around, hedge to hedge, pole to pole, right? No man wants to know that that's his daughter, that she got a husband, but she got 5 husbands. Ooh. No man wants that for his daughter. Like every 6 months, she got a new boyfriend. And you know, a boyfriend in this day and age ain't no just boyfriend. Right. Y'all ain't just holding hands. We know that. No man wants that for his daughter. No man wants to think about his daughter and look and say, damn, daughter, she's a whore. Right. Or damn, she's a hated woman in a relationship. Or wow, she had a baby at 15. Or wow, she's creeping at 15. No man wants to think about that about his daughter. You see that? These are the thoughts of a man with children. But that's why you got to teach your children, teach your daughters. But that's why the daughters, you got to remember, y'all got to remember what we're trying to do. We're trying to prevent these things. We're trying to prevent you from getting with a man that's going to knock you upside the head, beat you, kick you down the steps, and call it love. We're trying to prevent you from teen pregnancy, where you having babies at 12, and then you trying to pawn your baby off on your parents. I ain't babysitting nobody. I don't babysit my children. I'm a father to my children. Everyone else's children are being babysat. I'm not babysitting nobody. Hell no. Right? This is what we don't want for our children. This is what we shouldn't want for our children. Right? Any upstanding man should look at this and say, man, I got to get my thing in order if it's not. I got to make sure I'm teaching my daughter about relationships and respecting herself and not giving herself to the wrong situation based off of, I just like him. What you like about him? They're shaking their head no, but they're like, I don't know. Because they have no real reason to like him. Except for his jawline and he got good wavy hair. I don't know. What do girls like guys off of these days? He got a little bit of muscle coming out of a tight shirt. I don't know. Right? But we supposed to be showing our kids, man, how to look at relationships in a different light. The world is telling them to jump into relationships based off of the worldly standard. We got to set the precedent and show them that the longevity in a relationship is not based off the world. That's why some of us have multiple relationships. I'm guilty. I got a 20-year-old daughter. That's one rib. I got your pa and Noah. That's another rib. I got my other 2. That's another rib. I'm only with one of them. Guilty. Right? Guilty. Guilty is the next man. I'll raise my hand first. Right? But I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm learning from my mistakes, put it like that. And I'm sharing these things with the kids. Like, look, this is what you got to be looking for. This is what you don't want to do. Don't make this mistake. You see what I'm saying? There's many things that I got, like my older daughter. She's trying to go down the path of single motherhood. And I'm like, you ain't got to do all that. Just be humble. Just stop trying to move according to what you saw didn't work in the past. It didn't work for you. Do something different. You see what I'm saying? So it's about teaching them, man. It's about teaching them and we can't be scared to have the conversation. A lot of us are scared to have the conversation like, oh, no, they're not going to be able to handle it. Trust me. They ain't having it with you. They having it with somebody else. They can handle it. They can handle it. So, right? And when she is married, at least she should be barren. That's another thing that a man is looking at. Like, damn, I don't want my daughter to get married to a man and then she can't have children. I want to have grandkids, right? I want to have grandkids. I want to keep my line. I want to keep the love, the family growing. Even though it's not his seed anymore, it's still his grandchild. That's what we should be looking at. Like, I want to be a good grandpa one day. I want to be able to sit with my grandchildren after my kids get old, even though my grandkids are the same age as some of my kids, right? But you know what I mean? You want to be able to impart some of that wisdom, knowledge, and a little bit, whatever you got left in the tank to the younger generation. It should be like that, right? You should want to sit with your grandkids when you hit 70, 80, right? 90. If the Most High will, and just sit with them and just share stories with them and give them wisdom. They should want to sit with you. They should not want to push you into the nursing home because you smell like prune juice and Vicks. He stinks. Smells like Tiger Bomb. I don't want to be around Grandpa. He's senile and going crazy, right? That's how the younger generation looks at old people, like they all smell bad. They smell like mothballs and prune juice, and they all just babble. Not all of them, right? But you should, as the older generation, like I wish I was able to sit more with my grandpa and learn a few more things just about the family. He was 100 years old. He had 100 years of memories, 100 years of wisdom, right? 100 years of information that I didn't get a chance to get at all, really. I really didn't sit with my grandpa maybe a few times in my life that I can remember, right? The last time was probably 2000 and, no. Yeah, like, I think the last time I see my grandpa was 2001, like face to face, right? But there was a lot that he had. There was a lot that he had to give. A lot of information, man. He got 100 years of family history, right? He was the oldest man in the family. That's like sitting with Abraham, right? Yep. That's like you being Adam and sitting with Noah. Got all this history to give. I wish I could have did that, but hopefully I'm able to do that with my grandchildren. Most High will, right? That's what we should want to do. That's what we should be doing. 11. Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter. Lest she make thee a laughing stock. So what is the keeping a sure watch? Is it literally just cutting her off from the world, or now reaffirming the things that she's not shamefaced in? It's sitting them down and saying, look, do you know what you're making yourself look like when you dress a certain way? Do you know what impression you give off when you dress a certain way, when you move a certain way? Yes. You know what? The dress is good right now, but bend over like you're picking up the kids. See what happens when you bend over? It gets a little bit tighter. Things start to move around. You don't want to misrepresent yourself or your parents, right? These are the talks you got to start having with them as they get older. I got to have these talks with mine. They're getting older. They're getting older and things are growing, and if they're not aware of themselves, they'll forget and they'll move a certain way around grown men and women, and it comes off a certain way, right? And we don't want to give off that impression. Even the boys, the same thing. You don't want to give off a certain impression. I'm the playboy of the camp. No, you don't want that. You don't want that title. The pimp of the camp. You'll be the pimp, but not in the camp. For show. You'll be the harlot, but not of the camp. You'll be right out there with the harlots and the pimps. Yeah, because we're not going to have that up in here, right? But it first starts with reminding the kids that, look, don't forget that that things are changing with you, and you got to be aware of yourself. You got to be aware of your body. You got to be aware that that dress don't fit you no more because it's 3 years old and you done got taller. If you got taller and the dress ain't gonna get taller with you, then what's gonna happen? Right. So there got to be a reminder, right? So if she's shamefaced, you keep her in, you keep them in to teach and to reaffirm, right? A laughing stock to thine enemies, and a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitude. Now, if she's really to the level of this, then yeah, you gotta nah. Look, if you ain't gonna adhere to the rules, you can't be around feast days with damn skinny jeans on and tights and all that. Like, come on, no, you can't come to class like that. If either you're gonna conform or you don't come, right? Same thing with a wife. Right? Nobody's wife should be walking through a feast day with her bosom out. If you can't change that, then guess what? You're not invited. Right? Because what impression are you trying to give? Right? What are you trying to start? Right? For 12. Behold not everybody's beauty, and sit not in the midst of women. Right? Meaning what? You ain't got to be looking up on everything and staring and gazing. And for you boys, got a few teen boys, right? Where's Bryce? Oh, he ain't here. But it's telling you right here.
Right here.
Oh, that's I keep getting him and Tyree mixed up. My bad. I called Tyrese yesterday. I called him Bryce at the street speaking. Right. But for you boys, and the grown men know this, and sit not in the midst of women. Right? The women are doing something. Well, we boys, we about to go do something else, man. We about to go sit with the men and learn how to be a man. Right? Let the women be the women. Right? Let them do the baking and do the women stuff. Because all they want to do is what? Women stuff. So why you want to be around that? They want to do women stuff, man. Right? When the sisters are at my house, they're doing garments and stuff. Man, I pop down for some water and I'm back in the room.
Yeah, you only feel comfortable.
Yeah. Now there was one time, I ain't gonna lie, I helped out with the garments. I was helping them beat some armbands. But I was helping. It wasn't like I was sitting around like, oh, so sisters. So what's the latest gossip? Nah, let's knock these armbands out. We on a time crunch. I was trying to help. We was on a time crunch, right? Yeah, we was on a time crunch. And they were like, I don't get it. And I'm like, nah, this is easy. Watch. Right? But just to do that and make yourself accustomed to sit around with women as a man, that's a lot. You start getting soft. You start picking up those traits. You women, as your children, as your boys get older, you need to start pushing them away from you. Push him away from you. He can't be a mama's boy and serve the Lord. It does not work. It doesn't work. It don't work. There's no order in that. You got to start pushing him to the man. If you ain't got a man, you push him to the brothers. What?
It's deep. I tell you, I got to bring it to you. That movie Roots.
Right?
That's what Coach's mother did.
Push them to the men.
Push them out there. Said, don't go. You need to go on out there. Get on with him. Get out of here.
Yeah, and that was not our custom to just have the little boys around us after a certain age. It tells you when you go through our customs of raising our children. When that little boy was off that breast, he didn't need his mom no more to learn certain things. He needed his dad. He needed his dad to now do what? Strengthen him in different areas. Mom was there for the nurture, for the soft touch, right? But dad had to toughen that man up a little bit, get his hands calloused. Nah, boy, get that wrench, right? Whenever I'm building something, I got this guy next to me. Go get the screws. Count them. I use it as moments for him to learn how to count and know how to use tools, like at least look at the tools. Because he always wants to help. He wants to help me or his mom. The same thing with Noah. It's the same thing. He always wants to help. But I'm gonna make sure he's helping me before he's helping my rib cook. I'm gonna make sure he's helping me build something. I can always teach him how to cook, right? I can teach him how to cook, right? So there's certain ways that now boys have to have instruction administered to them, and there's a certain discipline that a man brings. And there's a certain balance that's needed. We talk about this all the time. So, sisters, if you got a husband, if you don't trust him with your son, then you ain't got a husband. Right? That doesn't make sense. Remember I asked the question the other day? If your husband was gone, who would you want your son to mimic? You or your husband? What would you want? I would hope that my sons mimic me and not my rib. I would hope that they took on the spirit of a man and not of a woman. That's why it's telling us here, and sit not in the midst of women. Don't be enamored with their beauty where now you're sitting around with them. Next thing you know, you're doing their makeup. How you think all these little male beauticians start? They sitting around with their drunk mama and her friends in the midst of them, and they're painting his face, and then he's like, how'd you get into makeup? Well, you know, my mom and her friends got me into makeup when I was a young boy. I would sit with my mama and she would show me. Your mom ain't supposed to show you how to do makeup, son. Ain't no woman supposed to be showing her son that. How to do makeup? No. Y'all see this? There's certain things you teach boys and there's certain things you don't teach boys. Hey, you got a problem? Hey. Be quiet and sit up and fix your face, bro. Got it? Okay. I'll read on. For from garments cometh moth, and from women wickedness. Now, is this always true? Wickedness comes from both sides, man. But what is it showing? That an unwise woman is going to be this way, right? If you look at this daughter that it's talking about, if she falls into the misbehaving, found with child early in her father's house and not wanting to be reproved, then she's going to be a wicked woman, right? But a woman that does not forsake the guide of her youth, she's going to be a Proverbs 31 woman. Y'all see that? So it's not saying that every woman is just wicked, because every woman is not just wicked, right? But from certain women do come wickedness. Just like certain men comes wickedness. And a wicked woman is given to the portion of a wicked man. And blesses he that findeth a wife, right? It's a gift from the Lord. So we got to talk about that balance. I'm not just trying to paint it. All women is wicked, and neither is the Bible, right? We understand that, right? Better is the churlishness of a man than the what is that? Huh? Oh, I'm like, wait a minute. I know the word, right? Better is the churlishness of a man than a courteous woman. A woman, I say, which bringeth shame and reproach. When it like courteous, you're like, well, she got courtesy. Ooh, she's a little bit too courteous. She's a little bit too in the men's face. She's a little bit too acquiesced. She's a little bit too, you brothers need anything? Right? Like, you need anything, like when brothers come over, my rib is good for this. Y'all need anything? No, we good, babe. Shalom. She's gone. She's gone. If y'all need something once and you say no, and if we say, yeah, hey, can you grab us some water or do something? She'll do it, but she makes herself small, gone. Right? Because she knows she don't need to be up in brother's face. Right? And I know sisters in here do the same thing. But you got that wife, she know that his homeboys is coming over and she go put the booty shorts on. Y'all need anything? And her breasts are on the platter next to the water. So when he grabbed the water, he's getting a little bit of cleavage. He moved them waters and it's just breasts. Right? What is that woman trying to do? Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's funny, but it's true. It's true. You got women out there that do that. It's like, yeah, my friends are coming over, and all of a sudden she's in the skimpiest thing. It's like, you ain't wearing that with them coming over. Cats be doing whole skits on this. Because these are the things that men got to battle in the world. This is what men in the world got to battle. A woman that is extra courteous. Right? To where she's overstepping her boundaries is what it's saying. It said it's better for a man to be a fool, churlish. It's better for him to be a fool than a woman to be over courteous and bring shame. Because we know that over courteous is going to be received as what? Oh, I think she liked me. I think she like me. Oh, I think she like me, right? Wait, how can she like you when she's married, homie? Now we got a whole nother set of problems, right? 15. I will now remember the works of the Lord and declare the things that I have seen. In the words of the Lord are his works. So this is going to go into also what? The sun, moon, and the stars? No. Okay, no. The sun, yeah, it's going to go into it a little bit. The sun that giveth light, look upon all things, and the works thereof is full of the glory of the Lord. So how can space be black if the sun looks upon all things? See, uppercut, right? Uppercut to science. Verse 17, the Lord hath not given power to the saints to declare. See, check this out. Check this out. Read it slow. The Lord hath not given power to the saints to declare all his marvelous works, which the Almighty Lord firmly settled, and whatsoever might be established for his glory. So he said he hasn't given us the power to see all his works. He said he set the world in our minds that we couldn't declare his works. Too caught up in other things to even see the beginning and the end of the Most High. Right? But that's by design. That's by design, man. He seeketh out the deep and the heart, and considereth their crafty devices. For the Lord knoweth all that may be known, and he beholdeth the signs of the world. He declareth the things that are past and for to come, and revealeth the steps of the hidden things. No thought escapeth him, neither any word is hidden from him. He hath garnished the excellent works of his wisdom, and he is from everlasting to everlasting. Unto him may no thing be added. Right? So obviously this is talking about the Most High. The Most High is from everlasting to everlasting. The Most High knoweth everything. Right? Neither can he be diminished. He hath no need of any counselor. Right? He has no need. So even when this is the thing. Because, you read the story of like Abraham, and it's like, oh, Abraham was counseling the Most High not to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. No. He wasn't counseling, or Moses counseled the Most High when he reminded him not to destroy the people because of the Egyptians. No. That wasn't no counsel. Most High was allowing these men to display their humility, their long suffering. Most High don't need no counsel. Right? He don't need to be told what to do. He is what to do. Just like I read in Isaiah where it says he don't faint. He don't need an electric socket. He is the plug and the socket. He's the energy. He don't need to be charged up. Smoke break, the orange peel break. He don't need none of that. Gatorade break. Even when it said he rested on the seventh day, you like, oh wow, the Lord took a break. He needed some rest. No, he didn't. It's the Most High. He don't need no rest. That's insane. That's insanity. Right? He just sat back and looked at the works, man. 22. Oh, how desirable are all his works, and that a man may see even to a spark. All these things live and remain forever for all of us, and they are all obedient. 24. All things are double one against another, and he hath made nothing imperfect. The one against another is his perfection. The good against where good is, evil is present. That's how things are perfect in the eyes of the Most High. Again, balance. Balance. One thing establisheth the good of another, and who shall be filled with beholding his glory. Right? And what is this going into? See, this is the thing. I like it. You know why? Because it starts to talk about creation in 16. So obviously these books are broken into chapters. When Jesus, son of Sirach, wrote this, did he write chapter 43? No, it was one long scroll, right? Or one long letter, chapter 43 was added by the scribes that translated. Chapter 42 was added, right? For our edification, for us to remember where scriptures are and things like that. But when you read it, this whole idea starts in 16 down, because then he starts to go, because this is no one ends a letter with a question mark. Right? Because it's a rhetorical question. But then he goes in on verse 1 of 43 and starts to talk about, right? But he'll beholding his glory. What is his glory? The pride of the height of the clear firmament, the sun, the moon, the stars. It starts out with this. I will now remember the works of the Lord and declare the things that I have seen. What do we see? Sun, moon, stars, firmament, air, birds, each other, right? In the words of the Lord are his works. Let there be light. Let there be sun, moon, and stars. Let the earth come forth out of the water. That's how you know the Most High's word is true. Because of the works that he did. So you see how some of these things carry it. Like chapter 42 was just a continuation of 43. It just broke the chapter at a certain point. Right. So sometimes you got to read a chapter back to get the context. Y'all get that? Right. Any questions? Romans 7:24. Oh, wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of his death? Oh, we were talking about the daughter thing. Yeah. A lot of cats made mistakes with their daughters, man. They got regrets. But the good thing is, there's always a chance to revamp those mistakes. Right? There's many fathers and daughters in here. You got a chance to at least add something good to these young kids' lives. We got any questions?
I do, but not this song.
Yeah. Off the reading, on the reading, which I got.
I got one. Just help me understand. Isn't Hosea? Yeah, Hosea 1.
Hosea what?
Chapter 1. I'm trying to.
Hosea.
Yeah. 1
Hosea. Right? 1 and what?
1 and 2.
Okay, read it.
It's at the beginning of the word of the Lord by Hosea.
Right?
And the Lord said to Hosea, go take unto thee a wife.
Yep. He definitely said that. Read it loud and proud. You like, wait a minute, a hoe? Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read it. Read it loud. Everybody online to hear it.
Hosea, chapter 1, verse 2. The beginning of the word of the Lord by Hosea. And the Lord said to Hosea, go take unto thee a wife of whoredom. And children of whoredom.
Go ahead, read.
For the land hath committed great whoredom, departing from the Lord.
So you asking, why did the Most High have him do that?
Yeah.
Well, he just said it. Read it again. He just told you why.
Because the land?
Because the land is us, the people.
Okay.
Right? Because what did we do to the Most High? We committed whoredoms on him.
Yeah.
We had many lovers. Right? We had many lovers looking for gifts. Right? Let me see here. Let me find one for you. They all through Jeremiah.
I'll say.
Right? Go to Jeremiah 30, 14.
Jeremiah 30 and 14.
Yep. Go to Jeremiah 30 and verse 14.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 14.
Come on.
All thy lovers have forgotten thee.
Right, because Israel made sweet love to all the nations. In what way? We took on their customs and forsook the Most High. Right? We chose their ways over the Most High. Oh, y'all sacrificing children and calves? Sign me up. Oh, y'all eating babies? I'm down. Damn, y'all cutting it off? Let me do that. Oh, y'all are circumcised and we, nah. Or y'all are uncircumcised and we're circumcised. Let me go make myself uncircumcised. Remember that in Maccabees? That was a literal uncircumcision.
Yep.
They were trying to sew the skin back on. Right? So mingled amongst the heathen, learn their works, sacrifice to gods, throw our kids in the fire. Y'all celebrating Christmas? Well, where do I get the tree? Y'all eating pork? Well, what's the best part? Y'all eating shrimp, crab, and lobster? Are y'all taking the little doo-doo strip out? Or are y'all just leaving that in? Right? Remember, the Most High said, don't even ask the nations how they serve their gods. But you asking like, so when you hook the chitlins up to the hose, you turn it on full blast? Or you just like calmly wash out the doo-doo guts? How you do it? You turn the stove, like how you keep the chitlins on the hose, or you put a rubber band over it, then you turn it up.
Wow.
You know, they clean chitlins in some place, right? They hook it up to a hose.
Really?
Oh,
it's an intestinal tract, and the only way to get the boo-boo particles partly way out, put that hose on full blast, and it's like an enema to dead guts. Yeah. So instead of saying, wait a minute, the Lord said don't eat pork and animal guts, you asking, how do I keep the chitlins on the hose to wash them out? Y'all use a hair tie, a rubber band, a zip tie? What y'all use to do that? You trying to figure out the best way to commit wickedness, to be a whore, right? Just like what a whore does. What does she do? She sneaks and creeps and tries to find the best way to commit her wickedness, right? She'll lie, cheat, and deceive. So that's what we did as a nation. Go ahead, read on.
They seek thee not.
They what?
Seek thee not.
They seek thee not. But what are we seeking? The lovers, right? The gifts, right? The acknowledgement from other nations, from other people. Put your hand down, right? We're seeking the wrong things. We seeking the like on Instagram, the heart. You seeking the retweet. You seeking the heart, the heart on Facebook. You're supposed to be looking for the love of the Most High. Go ahead.
For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one.
Go ahead.
For the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased.
See that? Right. So that's why he remember the people at this time. What was this, Hosea? Yeah. What was happening in this time with Hosea? I don't have all this in my head, man, and I don't claim to. Yeah,
the judgment against Israel.
Right. So, and what were they doing? What was Ephraim doing? The 9.5. They were heavy into idolatry. Heavy. Even today. That's why they're on Jesus Christos and Catholicism and Santa Muerta and Day of the Dead and Brujeria and all that good stuff. That's all that bad stuff. Rubbing rocks together, talking about it's going to give me power. You know what I mean? I mean, not that, come on, not that the whole nation ain't on that, but they really on that. Lighting candles. They lighting candles to the dead, Day of the Dead. Right? So, Most High, just think about it. He chose Hosea, but then he made him do something to represent what the people were about. It's a slap in the face. This is what y'all are about. You see that? Isaiah, go eat dung cakes. Right? Because even though the people think they're in a good space, they're in a crappy situation. I'm going to remind you of it to remind them of it. You see that? So that's what that was about, man. Okay. Yep. Get tender virgin. You're going to get something that's used and abused. Why? Because y'all are using and abusing me. Right? When we get to that Deuteronomy 32:15, right? It tells you right there how Israel was going to do the Most High. That he was going to bulk us up, fatten us up, give us the land, give us the riches. And what were we going to do? We were going to forsake him and act like he didn't do it. We were going to cheat on him like an unfaithful woman. See that? So, yeah, what else we got? You get that, right? What does it say?
Explain First Esdras 1 and 32.
First Esdras 1 and 32. Let's see what we got. We'll have to read up. Let's see here. First Esdras. Go ahead and read. Go ahead and read that.
First Esdras chapter 1, verse 32. and in all Jewry they mourn.
Right, no, actually, just read up. Read verse 27.
First Esdras chapter 1, verse 27.
Right, this is go ahead.
I am not sent out from the Lord God against thee.
Right.
For my war is upon Euphrates.
Go ahead.
And now the Lord is with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, the Lord is with me, hasting me forward.
Go ahead, read on.
Depart from me, and be not against the Lord. Howbeit, Josias did not turn back his chariot from him.
Go ahead.
But undertook to fight with him.
Go ahead.
Now regarding the words of the prophet Jeremiah,
right? So, go ahead.
Spoken by the mouth of the Lord.
Right, so this is going to be in Kings? No, this is going to be in Jeremiah. Go ahead, read on. Let me try to find it in the scriptures.
2 Kings chapter 23.
Right, it's in Kings. Okay, so we can always go to Kings together. So we got Jeremiah the prophet. Who's the king? Josiah? Go ahead, read on.
But join battle with him.
So what's going on here? Jeremiah the prophet's giving word to the king. We're going to find out, make sure we get the king's name correct. He turns back from this battle.
Jeremy.
No, Jeremy is Jeremiah.
Oh, it's the same.
Jeremy and Jeremiah are the same.
Verse 22. Josias.
Right, Josias. Right. King. Okay, right. So verse 22, in the 18th year of the reign of Josias was this Passover kept. So obviously they're going into war. Jeremiah gives him the word to turn back. He doesn't. Right? That's what we get so far. Go ahead, read on.
But join battle with him.
Right.
In the plain of Megiddo.
Right.
And the princes came against King Josias.
Go ahead.
Then said the king unto his servants, carry me away out of the battle.
Right.
For I am very weak.
Right. So he got weak in the battle. Got asked his servants to carry him out. Go ahead.
And immediately his servants took him away out of the battle.
Right.
Then got he up upon his second chariot, and being brought back to Jerusalem, died.
Right.
And was buried in his father's sepulchre.
Go ahead.
And in all Jewry they moaned for Josias.
So all the people, when it says Jewry, all the Jews, all the Israelites, they mourn for him as they should. He's the king. Go ahead.
And the chief man with the women made lamentation for him.
Right. The high men, the chief men, like the scriptures say, a man dies, it says you cry. You mourn with them that mourn, weep with them that weep. Go ahead.
Unto this day.
Right.
And this was given out for an ordinance to do continually in all the nation of Israel.
Right. So all that's saying is that they told the people to mourn for the king. That's all that's saying. Right. And this was given out for an ordinance to be done continually in all the nation of Israel. It's not saying continually like mourn for him daily, but it's like this. When they do a quote unquote military drill and a helicopter happens to crash, or if a military person dies or a police dies or gets shot in the line of duty, what do? What ordinance do they set out to mourn them? They fly the flags at what? Right, at half mast, right? To show mourning. So it's the same thing. It's just mourn for the king. But it was a ordinance sent out to all the people of the kingdom to mourn for the king. Right? You got something else?
It's in Second Chronicles.
It's in Chronicles and Kings. But Chronicles gonna give the details, right?
Yeah, Chronicles gave the details. I thought the story was familiar.
Right. And but guess what? Watch this. Read down real quick. It tells you where it's written. Read down.
Verse 33. These things are written in the book of the stories of the kings of Judah.
There it is. It's written in Kings. You see that? Written in Chronicles. So it tells you where it's written. Right? Go ahead.
And every one of the acts that Josiah's...
You want to go here?
Yeah, we can go here. It's better.
Right. Jump here real quick. Go to Second Chronicles. Where?
I'll read it real quick. It's Second Chronicles chapter 35 and verse 19.
Yeah, sometimes the names in the Apocrypha be throwing me off. I have to look. I'm like, wait a minute. I know Jeremy.
I'm reading this a lot.
Sometimes it be the names. You think it's one name and it's not, so you got to be careful. But go ahead.
This is Second Chronicles chapter 35 and verse 19. In the 18th year of the reign of Josiah was the Passover kept. After all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Carchemish by Euphrates. And Josiah went out against him. But he sent ambassadors to him, saying, What have I to do with thee, thou king of Judah? I come not against thee this day, but against the house wherewith I have war.
This was King Necho?
Mm-hmm.
Right, the Egyptian king.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Come on. Go ahead.
For God commanded me to make haste, forbear thee from meddling with God who is with me, that he destroy thee not. Nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him.
Right, so Necho was like, listen, I ain't got no business with you. Right? I'm not here to deal with you, but Josiah was like, listen, I'm here to war. Right?
Yeah.
But that's not what was commanded of him. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him, but disguised himself that he might fight with him, and hearkened not unto the words of Necho from the mouth of God, and came to fight in the valley of Megiddo. And the archers shot at King Josiah, and the king said to his servants, Have me away, for I am sore wounded.
There it is. So it gives you, Chronicles is going to give you more in detail of what was going on. Y'all see that? Go ahead. So he got shot with an arrow. He got wounded. Or he was weak. Go ahead.
Verse 24. His servants therefore took him out of that chariot and put him in the second chariot that he had. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died and was buried in one of the sepulchres of his father. And all Judah and Jerusalem mourned for Josiah, and Jeremiah lamented for Josiah. And all the singing men and the singing women spake of Josiah and their lamentations to this day, and made them an ordinance in Israel, and behold, they are written in the Lamentations. Now the rest of the acts of Josiah, and his goodness according to that which was written in the law of the Lord, and his deeds first and last, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah.
Where's that at? Second Chronicles what?
Chapter 35. And that whole First Esdras chapter 1, it lines up with Second Chronicles chapter 35.
Yeah. 35. And what was the kings?
Second Kings chapter 23, verse 29 to 30.
That's like
it's really 23. You could probably go from 23 to 24 to 30.
Right.
Yeah.
What you got?
I have a question on that also.
Exactly.
This Josiah, when you read in chapter 34, 2 Chronicles,
Okay.
chapter 34, it says Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign.
He was how old?
8 years old.
Okay.
He reigned in Jerusalem for 30 years. So he was 39 when he died, 38, 39 years old when he died. You know, so here's the quick. It says that he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord.
Yeah, here in the Apocrypha it says that he was upright.
Right. It says
all
he
his
was
works.
an upright man. So why would he go against the Lord's commandment and go into war? And he was a righteous man. He should have known not to do that, right? Or was this a punishment coming to Israel?
Just like Moses was a righteous man and hit the rock. Just like David was a righteous man and committed adultery.
Okay, all right.
Righteous don't mean perfect. A righteous man, a just man, falls 7 times. So sometimes in the moment where you're not supposed to do things, your convictions lead you, and you may think that you're doing the right thing, but you're not. See that? So, I mean, it says all his works are upright, but obviously he didn't listen in that critical moment, like we talked about Moses earlier. Yes, he made that mistake and he paid for it. But I'm pretty sure, I bet you if we read back a little bit, if you do your own homework and read back a little bit, you might find the reason. You got to just read with a fine-tooth comb. You'll find the reason, right? That should be, see, like, when these questions are posed, you might say, man, let me dig a little deeper into this and see why this man, what propelled him to move against what was commanded at this moment. That could have been that. It could have been his youth. It could have been his advisors. It could have been a lot of different things. Right. You know, you just got to read it and you can find those answers. Yeah, y'all bringing me back. I got to start getting back in my books of Kings. And
Kings chapter 23. I got 29:30, but you can go back to it and read it.
Yeah, it's 29:30. You can do 24 to 30. It's all in the same story. In the second Chronicles 35 chapter. 45th chapter. Yeah. See, they try to say, oh, the Apocrypha don't line up. It's lined up. You just show right here how the Apocrypha lines up. Esdras. Remember, if you don't know what was going on with Ezra at the time, why they had to rewrite and write so many books, it's because the temples were being destroyed, so they had to rewrite all the law and history. So when he says, is it not written in the book of the Kings? Well, that book was those documents were going to be destroyed or getting destroyed. So he's rewriting things on the fly. Y'all see that? Right. He's rewriting things to make sure we got records. Him and these scribes. Yeah, that's what was going on with Ezra. Remember that rebuilding of the temple in Nehemiah. If I'm not mistaken, Ezra was there scribing. If I'm not mistaken. Right? So when you rebuild a temple, or when they destroy a temple, are they like, oh, you know what? Let's preserve your records. And nah, they're like, bro, burn it down. Care what you grab, whatever you can grab. You couldn't grab everything. So now here's Ezra and Nehemiah in these times rewriting the things of the law, re-administering the law to the people. Right? You read that all through first Ezra. You read that through Nehemiah. You got it? What else?
I have one.
Yep.
It's actually in there's 2 and 1, Ezekiel 25:7 and Ezekiel 26:21. They pull along the same thing as what I'm about to ask. Ezekiel chapter 25 and verse 7. Right. It's actually going into Ammonites, the punishment of the Ammonites.
Ezekiel what?
25 verse 7. In verse 1 it says, the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against the Ammonites and prophesy against them. Okay, so verse 7. Behold, therefore I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and will deliver thee for a spoil to the heathen. And I will cut thee off from the people, and I will cause thee to perish out of the countries. I will destroy thee, And thou shalt know that I am the Lord. My question is this.
Hold on. Is that Ezekiel 25:7? That's what he just read. What was the first verse that you read?
Oh, verse 1.
Yeah, verse 1 there, yeah.
Ezekiel 25 and verse 1. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Read 7 from the top.
Read 25 and 1 and then verse 7.
Okay. Ezekiel chapter 25 and verse 1.
Right.
The word of the Lord came unto me. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against the Ammonites, to prophesy against them. Okay, verse 7 is in the question. My question. It says, Behold, therefore, I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and will deliver thee for a spoil to the heathen.
Okay.
And I will cut thee off from the people, and I will cause thee to perish out of the countries. I will destroy thee, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
Okay.
Does this actually saying that he's going to wipe them out completely like he did other nations? Or he's just going to disband them like he scattered us around 2064 like he did us throughout the world?
It says, and I will cause thee to perish out of the countries, and I will destroy thee. Now, I mean, usually when the Most High talks about destroying a nation, he uses the terminology utterly destroy. He said to go and wipe out the Amalekites. He said to utterly destroy, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this is not, it's saying I'm going to destroy you, but guess what? Remember, he said that he was going to destroy us.
Right.
He said that they should put a yoke of iron on thy neck until they have destroyed you. So destruction doesn't necessarily mean that you're wiped out completely. Destruction means that you can be around, but just like our people, we're here, but we're destroyed. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Right.
Destruction don't necessarily mean wipe them out. Right? Then it says, I will cause thee to perish out of the countries. Right? So he's saying what? You're going to perish from wherever you were. Right? Because think about it. I will give thee over to the heathen. I will deliver thee for a spoil to the heathen. So they're gonna be scattered with the heathen. Okay. Right? So he's putting a punishment on Ammon. Remember, this is judgment for Ammon, Moab, right, Edom, Philistia, right? Yeah, he's putting punishment on judgment on these nations, right? And showing, look, I'm gonna put you in the condition. Like when you read Deuteronomy 28 wasn't something that just only, mind my words. When you look at the blueprint of Deuteronomy 28, right? It's easy to point out certain things and say, oh, well, this nation went through this. In Jeremiah, he said, I'm going to put chains on all the nations' necks. Right? Yeah, so when you say, well, what other nation had chains on their necks other than the Israelites? Killed yourself. All nations had chains on their necks. Right? Because Deuteronomy 28 was a blueprint for an ass whooping. You see that? Now, we had a bigger blueprint because we had to encompass all that. We took on all those curses. Right? Okay. Where I'm going to kick you out your land, throw you to the heathen, and you're going to be destroyed. Right? But it's not talking about like a perpetual, utter removal off the land, like how he said to go do Canaan and how he said to go do the Amalekites. Okay. You see that? So I wouldn't put that same tone on this. Okay. Yeah. But they are being destroyed and they are going to be put in slavery. It's spoil of the heathen. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yep. What else?
Because it went into when you go the chapter 26, okay, verse 21. It's supposed to be Tyree. Yep. Tyree is out. I will make a terror, and thou shalt be no more.
Well, again, to be no more doesn't mean that you utterly perish. I'm just giving you the two sides. To be no more could mean that you're just small in number.
and you're so small in number that you're just insignificant to anybody.
Okay.
You see that? Again, if you look at the way our curses are written against us, you would think that Israel's not supposed to exist because we were supposed to be destroyed by our enemies. That's what the curses say. Right? The specific one is that he will put a yoke of iron around thy neck until thou be destroyed. And you'll read that and say, oh, so that's going to wipe us out. Right? Yeah, 28. But it's not that wasn't a perpetual wiping us out. It couldn't have been.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Now, you talking about Tyre and Zidon, the African nations? Because then that you'd have to come to the conclusion that every single Tyre and Zidonian is wiped out the earth. You'd have to come to that conclusion is what I'm saying. Right? That you'd have to be able to prove like every single solitary person from that nation dead. That's hard to prove.
Okay.
But the majority, if they got to go through a punishment, then we know that punishment is going to wipe them down to very, very few numbers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And yeah, they have to catch a butt whooping because they was wicked as hell. They were doing all types of wickedness against us. They had it good. They built their whole economy. The trade, and you read in Joel, trading the boys and making girls harlots, and they had that whole coast. Yeah. What else? Oh, that what he said.
He said, as a nation, we are no longer the nation of Israel, or just descendants of Israel.
Okay, yeah, we're split up, we're broken down, and we're trying to come back to that, trying to come back to being a nation. We're just the people, right? But if you want to get super detailed, yeah, we don't keep our heritage, we don't keep our language, we don't do any of the things that you can say, well, we're a nation. We're not recognized as a nation. Right. Well, he said they'll have a remnant, just like we'll have a remnant. That's what I'm saying. Like, but right, we don't do the things that consider us a nation. Nobody recognizes that. Same. I mean, y'all get that right. All right. I mean, anybody confused on that? Did I miss talk on that? Because I want to make sure he was just adding in, I guess, to make it a little bit plainer. Is that it? You got more, or what we got? You're all right.
I have a question.
You got it.
Sabbath? Yeah.
It's just not part of we got a separate Sabbath ceremony that we do. Yeah.
More prayers?
I'm gonna serve the Lord. Yeah, I mean, y'all see the new logo, right? Hopefully y'all like it, man. A lot of work. Try to switch up this intro. He told y'all why we switched up the name. Back in the day, we used to be, like when you go to Albuquerque, there's Stream of Knowledge. In Colorado, we used to be Sword of Truth. No, in Colorado, we were Shield of Wisdom. So, trying to go back to our roots. Make sure we're not too much associated with too much negative is out there, man. And every little thing to try to just not separate, but just let people know that we're a little bit different thinking on certain things, is good. So,
Yeah, I heard that.
yeah, how was that?
Are we gonna keep the same colors as the whole?
Yeah, probably. I don't see any problem with that unless. Would y'all want something brighter?
No, I just want to know if I can keep making it body gold art.
Yeah, you can. Still make just that you can use less violent. S.O.W. compared to ISBHBK. Right. So yeah. It's just easier to remember, man. That's another thing too.
Yeah, that's pretty. All right, that's it. All right, everybody. Madia Mokunya Yerushalayim. Let's get everybody here. He's on, right?
No. We doing the prayers.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's been a minute. Oh, you know, Cat eating dinner at night, so Cat eating dinner at night. You know what I'm saying? Cat's been fasting. God. Yay. Yay for fasting. Hooray.
It's so joyous to the souls. All right. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Yahweh
Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, please listen to us now, right now. Send Michael and the righteous angels to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong the people of Yasharallah. Also send unto us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, and much love, spiritual power, and forgive all of our sins. Yahushai come quickly, for it is our hope, always and forever. Amen.
Rakata Yahweh. Hashem
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives to us the law.
Rakata Yahweh. Award.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives to us the light to see.
Rakata Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives to us the ram's horn to call the people.
Rakata Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives to us the olive oil to anoint Israel.
We'll wait at the end. Psalms 92. It is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Give thanks unto Yahweh.
Give thanks to Yahweh.
Praise unto thy name.
Praise unto thy name.
O Most High.
O Most High.
Show forth thy loving kindness.
Show forth thy loving kindness.
In the morning. And thy faithfulness. Every night. On an instrument. On the instrument. 10 strings. 10 strings. Upon the psaltery. Upon the psaltery. On the harp with the solemn sound. Upon the harp with the solemn sound. Thou Yahweh. Make me glad with thy words. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. Yahweh. Great are thy words. Thy thoughts are very deep. A foolish man knoweth not. A fool understandeth. The wicked spring as the grass. All the workers of iniquity do flourish. That day shall be destroyed forever. Oh, Yahweh. Shine forevermore. All thine enemies. Oh, Yahweh. All thine enemies. Shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. My holy exalt. The horn of a unicorn. Shall be anointed with fresh oil. And I also shall see. The desire of my enemies. My ears shall hear. The desire of the wicked. That rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like the cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh Shai. Flourish in the courts of Yahweh. They shall still be for the food grown lady. They shall be fat and flourishing. Show that Yahweh is upright. He is my rock. There is no unrighteousness in him. Psalms 133. Shayar. Shabbat, Akyom, Gum, Kai, Saman, Zwab, Ayel, Hash, Run, Alpaya, Latiwa, Tol, Kabaran, Sayarad, Ayah, Kabariyah, Zion 1, Kaya, Jones, Taswa, Hawa, An, I will love. Come on.
All right. Psalms chapter 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessing, even life forevermore.
Bahashem Yahushai.
Bahashem Yahushai. The water.
In Israel, Amani, Rock.
Bahashem Yahushai. Sisters. Christ.
Salute not the daughters of Zion, men of Israel, Amani, Rock.
Say the shalom, everybody online.
Shalom.
Yes,
Chilling up in the kingdom, chilling with Yahweh Shai and all the brothers and the sisters, cooling out, having fun, drinking yayin with Yahweh.